Hey, beautiful people. I am Shamika Wright, and this is Balanced Life. When we are going through our healing journey, we have two paths that we can take. We either can go around it or we can go through it. And a lot of times, people go around the healing process of something that they needed to work through versus going through it, because to go through it, it is going to be much more painful. But if you're going around something versus going through it, is it really benefiting you in the end? That's what I want to talk about. But before we get into that, our candle of the week is the Friday Night Vino. So the Friday Night Vino, it has notes of citrus, cranberry, champagne, musk, and praline notes. So it is a nice glass of wine on a Friday night. Get it? Friday Night Vino. So if you have had a long week and you are looking to just come home and get the aroma without getting the buzz, sometimes the buzz is necessary, I understand, but it may not be readily available to you. There is a candle that can suffice that any day of the week, and it is our Friday Night Vino candle. So I invite you to get yourself one, and I will leave the details available to you in the description. Okay, let's get into this topic of healing and if we're going through it or working around it, and what does that look like for our relationships in the future? We have all experienced things that have hurt our feelings and or was traumatic to us. And the difference in how our future relationships plan out has a lot to do with whether or not that moment that hurt our feelings, that moment that was traumatic for us, whether or not we worked through it versus going around it. More often than not, people tend to choose to go around it because that is the easiest path to move on. Versus going through it, it takes a lot more work because it requires for you to be more self-aware. When we go around our healing process, it is suppressing what it is that we experienced. Saying things like, whatever, I'll be fine, I'll move on, I'm strong, I've dealt with things before, I'll be fine. It's very dismissive to yourself and what it is that you experienced. And when you are dismissive to yourself and what is it that you experience, you don't learn anything about yourself. The only thing you learn is that you have had another bad experience. Something happened the way that it happened before, and you expected it. Now you're just in this negative space of, I just expected for things to go the way that they went because they always went that way. But if situations always go that way, you have to understand that you are the common denominator. So at what point are you then saying, okay, how is it that I am impacting? How am I influencing what it is that I'm attracting? It's a great question, but you can't get to that if every time something comes up for you, it's a whatever, I'll be fine. I'm strong. I'll get over it. You can't get there. The only thing it does is set you up to be in a space to continuously attract those exact same relationship dynamics, because lessons tend to repeat themselves until you learn them. Now, when you are going through your healing journey, it is a lot more painful because it requires for you to be very truthful with yourself. And to be truthful with yourself means that there were things that you knew that you ignored. Those eyes were closed and you just went with it. And mind you, this applies to personal and professional relationships, okay? So when you're going through it, you are now in this space where your eyes are wide. You are taking the perspective of stepping out. You are the fly on the wall, and you are looking at this and saying, how did I get here? How did I get here? What can I learn from this? How can this make me better? How can I grow? That is how you go through your healing process. As you're going through it, one of the main things that you are going to do is identify what your triggers are. You're going to find out the things that you allowed versus you didn't allow. You're going to find out how it was that a person was able to get you to the space that they were able to get you to because it came from a place of lack. It came from a place of not healing. But if you're going through it, the only place you have to go from there is up. The only relationships that you have to garnish moving forward are better. Because now you're then in a place where you can say, okay, I can recognize certain behaviors. I can recognize things in people, and I can recognize places, places I shouldn't be, people I should be around that I shouldn't. And I know that this is no good for me. Versus if you're going around your healing process, it totally leaves you wide open to continuously fall into the exact same trap and have the same version of relationships that you have had in the past with just a different face. At some point, you have to understand that it's not always the people that are outside of you. At some point, it is you. And that is the uncomfortable conversation that nobody wants to have. It's not always everybody else, especially if you are in a repetitive cycle. At some point, you got to take your hands off it and be like, all right, let me stop playing. It's me. What do I need to do? What do I need to work on? How do I need to grow? How do I need to evolve? How can I be better so I can stop attracting these types of people in my space? So you have to decide. You have to decide when you are going through things that are hurting your feelings or that are traumatic towards you, or if you are attracting these same types of people, at what point am I going to stop allowing myself to just brush off what it is that I truly feel? To just say, okay, I got knocked down, I'll get up again. You can get knocked down, get up again, and still heal through. You don't have to just hunch your shoulder up and say whatever and then work around and act like the things never happened to you and act like you are better off than what you were as far as how it is that you're feeling if you just dealt with it. The funny thing about it is that when you are healing around versus going through, the people in your life that is now having relationship with you, they can identify and see it more that you have not worked through your healing. You're working around it more than you can because you have not taken the time to stop and work through it. So you didn't do the work to open your eyes and really be honest with yourself. The person that we always lie to the most is ourselves. We lie the most to ourselves about how it is that we feel, how it is that we're truly reacting, what's really deep down inside. We are the number one person that we lie to ourselves about. So if knowing that information, you take that, right? Take that with you and be like, we lie the most to ourselves. Look yourself in the mirror. I lie the most to myself. Where am I lying the most to myself? And be honest. It does not work if you're like, I'm not lying to myself. I don't do this. I don't do that. Then you're not ready. And if you're not ready, that's perfectly fine. This is just saying, recognize the people that you are surrounded with, recognize the constant relationships that you attract with people, recognize how it is that you end up. And if you are a person who finds themselves always feeling like you are ending up with the short end of the stick, at some point, you just have to turn the reflection of that mirror and look at yourself and decide how it is that you are contributing to you receiving that treatment or having that experience. And what is it that you need to work through with you so that you no longer have that happen in your life. I hope that this message resonates with someone. If it did resonate with you, please hit the thumbs up. Give the notifications a ding as well. Share it with a friend because we can only become better when we work with each other. And the best thing that I have ever done for myself is to work through. When I first started in my emotional maturity journey, we will say, that's what we'll call it. I had to come to terms with I was a person who at one point in my life was going around my healing and I wasn't working through it. From the point that I started working through it, that's when the tears start falling. That's when the honesty and that's when the self-awareness became very prevalent. And that's when I start taking responsibility and accountability for my contributions to any experience that I have. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this message. You stay happy, stay healthy, stay beautiful.